Good afternoon or morning, wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. This is sigmafan once again with another fantastic Dragon Warrior Randomizer race. This is week 5 of the Swiss rounds. It is do or die time because both these races are 2-2, and they need to win in order to advance those brackets. And joining me alongside me in this fantastic race between Simbu and FearonBurgundy is Lorgon. Lorgon, what do you expect from this great race?
This is going to be another good one. I mean, it's already exciting enough as we get down to the 2-2s when people were fighting for their tournament lives in the last week of the Swiss. But the fact that FearonBurgundy and Simbu, they're both people who have not done a whole lot of races, but have gotten reasonably familiar with the randomizer. And so as a result, I think it's going to be a really good match. I think they're relatively evenly matched runners. And yeah, either one of them could pull this off. I think we might end up having a really close one here.
I am more than inclined to agree. And if you take a look at the stats, looks like we're going to get off to a slow start, but there could be something in the chest. We don't know. I haven't taken a look at it. I'm pretty sure Lorgon hasn't taken a look at it either. But let's introduce everyone else. We got High Spirits doing the restreaming. We got TyrannX doing the tracking. So sit back, relax, and strap it down. Dragon Warrior Randomizer here on RPG Limit Break.
But as Sigma just called out, yeah, we can see that they're starting with 4 strength at level 1. That's like the worst possible strength start that you can have, and you're basically relegated to just trying to kill slimes if you don't manage to pick up the Fighter's Ring or something else. The 9 agility is not that bad. 13 hit points is pretty bad. They don't have any starting spells, so we'll see what they start out with here in the treasury, or in the throne room of the castle.
That's right, Lucy. We hope that they don't have breath. However, I should point out that 3 races in a row on Monday, we did have
That's right. I remember watching those back to back, and it was like every starting area had enemies with breath, like right around the castle. So hopefully the runners are off to better luck than this.
And it looks like we're going to get double keys.
Well, that's always nice. Not only double keys, but also gold in the treasury means they'll be able to buy more keys. So they don't have to worry about, do I make a safety save? Do I check the treasury? One of those kinds of things. They can just immediately go buy their keys and check the treasury and have keys for the rest of the match. So that's a good start, at least.
Oh, this is going to get even more nasty. You've got the swamp on the outside.
Ooh, that, with 13 hit points, that could be a real problem. We will see when someone actually takes a step outside exactly what it looks like.
And Simbu makes a mistake, decides to go straight for the treasury, does not go for... Oh,
yeah. Oh my goodness.
Sword.
That still could be a real problem for Simbu. I mean, Fearon is also going to get the sword, but Fearon's still going to have keys. I'm not sure if Simbu is going to realize this and do a reset to restart to keep the keys, or, yeah, it looks like Simbu did just reset. So as a result, Fearon's going to get, I don't know, like a minute head start going here. I'm not sure that we actually have the timer going on stream, but I feel like we're just like 1 minute into this.
Yep, and it looks like Simbu has learned from their mistake. With Swamp on the outside, not a good idea to do a gold grind, I think.
And I didn't see if there are herbs, and that's what Fearon is picking up right now. They must be, because he already bought his keys. So it sounds like there was an herb grind available. When you re-enter the throne room, you actually get the immediate gold grind right out of the start of the match. And so Fearon took advantage of that. I believe he now has all his keys and all of his herbs. Actually, I guess he spent 1 final key in the treasury, so he's going back to buy that one. He's going to check downstairs while he has a chance right here, but then we'll get a look outside. But the herbs hopefully will save them, coupled with the sword, even if there is some swamp right at the start.
And it looks to be Mountain Cave.
And a Druid Lord has got Fearon's number, but it's not really a big deal. It seems like taking a death right there. You got the information about what's downstairs. You've got the sword in hand. You've got your herbs. It's time to go outside and figure out exactly how good or bad the seat's going to be. Oh no!
But Fearon's doing the right thing.
Yeah, going to the land that isn't swamp and just trying to find something to grind. It looks like they are on the edge of the map, so this is going to be Zone 0. He already managed to kill a Drakey. Ghost, yeah, with Erdrick's sword, he'll have no problem getting the first couple of levels out here, and hopefully they'll give him more hit points. Level 2, it looks like, is only going to give 4 more hit points. That's the main thing they need. It did come with a number of agility, and so that'll be good when they actually need to run from monsters later.
And also 14 strength.
But yeah, we talk about the big C in terms of when people first see Charlotte Castle. Apparently we have the big E in this one, where the E is the only tract of land where they can actually walk around safely. And I was wrong. I thought we were on the edge of the map over here, but Fearon, as he just moved a step to the right, you could see there's more landmass to the bottom right of his screen. So this is just kind of a lake somewhere in the middle, possibly between continents or something.
It's possible, and he gets level 3. 11 more power, 5 more speed, 6 more hit points, 4 more agility, and we have more. How do you heal me? How do you hurt me? More.
Both more. Both heal more and hurt more came at level 3. And with heal more, they only have 16 magic points. Yeah, that's going to be... Oh, well, guess what? Only having 16 magic points, that didn't last very long. With Erdrick's sword, you carve up these monsters really quick. Fearon goes up to level 4. Now they're up to 29 magic points. And yeah, the swamp is not going to be as big of a problem as it originally was.
Nope, it's going to be a really... could have been a slow start if they decided, okay, I'm going to go explore. Turns out, no longer the case. And it looks like Burgundy is going to take a dive back in, which I don't think that's that bad of a play because he saw Druid Lords, and just killing one of them right now would give him a level.
Yeah, that's a good point. This could be the easiest way for him to go find some juicy Hurtmore enemies to get experience really quickly. So yeah, I like this play as well. Fearon definitely knows how to navigate Mountain Cave in the dark, and he is making his way over to the first chest. And it's also the case that if he does manage to get 2 more levels while he's down here, he might be able to set up like a gold grind, and then be up at like level 6 and be strong enough to go find a town. Who knows?
5, 9, 14, and 18 at the end, and also outside. An empty chest, so that had to be an herb.
And yeah, hopefully he'll make it down to the 2nd floor. And meanwhile, Simbu was grabbing gold and I guess an herb, and is now going to head downstairs, it looks like, as well.
Fearon might have died, but he's got some good information there about that Armored Knight.
Yeah, Armored Knights with Fire Breath, that definitely could be something that you're not going to want to see later in the game. But for right now, yeah, it's just an enemy that both players are going to have to contend with, and so it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, Fearon's just going to go outside now. I think that's a good choice. He can dive Mountain Cave again a little bit later when he has more hit points under his belt. For now, he could easily get out into Zone 1 or 2, or even farther out into the world and find some more good enemies to fight.
And it looks like the Armored Knight is going to be a 75% fire breather.
Yep, it has claimed its 2nd victim, Simbu, also getting sent back to the throne room. Not very far in terms of distance, but that's holding it back for the moment. The big C, to complement the big E, is on the screen.
And also level 6. So 8 more power, 6 more speed, no hit points, 1 more magic point, empty eye. I don't know if he's in chat, but he's enjoying that. So it looks like Burgundy went into Swamp Cave South, used outside to be at Swamp Cave North. So that's going to be a little bit of advantage. Meanwhile, some landmass up there, he's not going to get much of that. Simbu is going to be grinding on the outside, possibly get to level 5.
I always find when I'm running these matches that when you have a really fast start like this, it puts me in kind of a difficult headspace. Like, there's so much stuff going on, I often don't kind of pay attention to my usual checklists, and all of a sudden I'm just doing everything based on instinct, and then I have to like take a step back at some point and catch a breath.
Oh boy. So Axe Knights have stop spell, so they're going to be a little tough to deal with early game. And Metal Scorpions have hurt more. So yeah, some stuff that should be killable is not going to be killable. Or at least unless you get lucky.
Yeah, again, I think it's funny. The players have an agility score of 40 and 48, respectively. They should be very likely to get first strike on most of these enemies, other than things like the Armored Knight, really the very highest of enemies. And so I have to imagine that they're going to get first strike most of the time. And so even with these enemies have spells, if they're guys who goes down in one hurt more, the players are going to win the battle most of the time. And sadly, Simbu just ran out of magic points there, and so he had to go attacking the Druid Lord with the sword and wasn't able to quite finish it off. So he's going to continue to lag a little bit behind Fearon in terms of experience, as well as exploration.
That is true. And it looks like the first part of the continent is a whole lot of nothing except for Mountain Cave underneath Tantagel. So this is beneficial for Burgundy to know this. So it makes Swamp Cave all the more viable. And it has me thinking, do you save the princess immediately if you can Dark Walk it?
I would do it in this situation, not so much to save the princess, but because I want to check the spike tile anyway. If there's an Axe Knight there, Axe Knights have stop spell. I guess Fearon doesn't know that yet. But I would want to know if that's available, and if there is an Axe Knight there, I would want to go ahead and just like grind 3 levels right there before moving on, because it's so much easier to explore the rest of the world when you have like 80 hit points than when you have 40 or whatever. And Axe Knights go down so quickly, typically.
That's true. And Suited Werewolves, as Burgundy gets to level 7, 4 power, 2 speed, 2 hit points, and 11 more magic points. That's going to be beneficial later on. Actually, beneficial right now. And so he's found a good patch of werewolf land.
Yeah, and I agree with what he's doing. Just do a little bit of grinding right here. Try to get those levels. This is almost as good as an Axe Knight grind, honestly, in this seed right now. The werewolves are going down really quick. They're worth a lot of experience. He has tons of magic points. Yeah, sometimes you get heal more and hurt more, but you don't have many magic points to go with them, and so you're kind of hesitant to spend them. This is not that seed. Already 59 magic points here, 10 minutes into the match.
All that's left to do is find a town. Specters, they're killable with the sword, and Burgundy's gonna get level 8. So we'll see what he has for him. 8 more power, 8 more speed, 11 more hit points, 1 more magic points, and a spell of heal and sleep. So that is very beneficial, so could start to take a whack at werewolves just by putting them to sleep.
And also having the little heal spell is also nice. Like, he has a lot of magic points, but at the same time, he is hurt-mooring everything, and so he's running out of magic here. Having the little heal spell, given that they only have 40 or 50 some odd hit points, just using the little heal and only costing 3 rather than heal more and costing 8 is just a way to preserve their magic points that much longer as they try to go out and explore. I think this blue dragon might finally be the end of the road for Fearon. Nope, he manages to run away. He's going to continue to try to find a town and inn to get things replenished if he can get past another blue.
But instead find Silver Harp Cave, but he does have herbs to use, so... And there is an herb grind spot, so it is possible to be okay there. A lot of swamp they're running into the seed. Do we know if they're running a big swamp? Because that wasn't mentioned.
They're not. They're running standard flags. And yeah, they've just seen a couple of big swamps, including the... I can't remember exactly how large it was actually at the start. I guess it was only like 6 tiles wide to the west or something. But Fearon does manage to find a town. He's going to get there right before he dies, and it's the town of Garenham, and he has keys. This is one of the best finds to find in a key start, because it's 3 free chests and another underground, in addition to the shop at the inn.
Yep, and with 1,000 gold, he could wind himself with Half-Blade if it's there.
Yeah, and that would be terrific in a seed like this. They have, obviously, tons of attack power and healing. Getting some basic armor is now, like, one of the key things. He goes ahead and buys and equips the Dragon Scale, and now he's going to check the Garenham shop.
full plate, but large shield is great, and leather armor is okay to start, so that's pretty good. So what he will do is check the back of this. Now we know where Mountain Cave is. Now it's just a matter of where the grave is and all the other things. We know where Silver Harp Trade is. So
Simbu had some bad luck running into the Armored Knight once again. It seems like they're going to be the fun police of this seed, using that Dragon Lord breath at simply almost every opportunity.
Yep, and Burgundy is probably wanting to... Oh, we got Tablet Cave, and since Burgundy doesn't have a good idea on what the map is, he will dive this. And he's got outside, so it's not going to take much time to get out.
He's got outside, and so yeah, this will just be like a 20-second little excursion to pick up one more chest, be one fewer thing he has to worry about having to come back to later. So this is great. We'll see what's in the chest.
Well, it's a dragon scale. It's not gonna be that bad. It's just now, where else do you go? And with specters about, they're easily killable, and with basic magic, you should be good to go. Meanwhile, Simbu decides to take out the wolf without using Hurt More. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very questionable strat at this point, because werewolves are pretty dodgy as well. Like, even if the fact the sword is doing reliable damage, the werewolves are one of the dodgier enemies, not quite as dodgy as a demon knight, whereas Hurtmore is 100% to land on the werewolf, even if it's not necessarily going to totally kill them. Probably kills them maybe like half the time, maybe a little bit less.
And Burgundy finds 2 caves and finds the grave.
Now, here's an interesting question for FearonBurgundy. I'm not sure that I would immediately go into the grave here just yet, or I might just get the top 3 chests and nope out of there, because I'd want to also get the information about what's in the other one, and I'd be worried about dying in the grave. But we'll see what he chooses to do. He finds Erdrick's token in one of the top chests of the grave, and so that's something he doesn't have to worry about on a search spot, as well as the death necklace, which may or may not come into play later on in the seed.
And he also finds, and he is going to explore all of it. Thankfully for him, he does run into an attacking Armor Knight, but
I don't think there's anything thankful about any Armored Knight in this scene, based on what I've seen. Simbu, on the other hand, did manage to run away from a red dragon, so seeing the red dragon was more bad luck on Simbu's part, but at least he managed to get away. But yeah, Fearon has just lost his position. This is exactly the reason that I would have considered noping out of the grave, just in order to get the information about what else was there. But at the same time, FearonBurgundy is doing just fine, and it looks like he is headed maybe to replenish his keys. I'm not sure what his count is.
I think he got back up to 6, but now he's going to jump into the mountain cave, which...
I guess he knows that there's Armored Knights on the top floor, but the bottom floor of the mountain cave... No, the bottom floor of the mountain cave has other Armored Knights, right, because he just saw them on the top floor of the grave, and they're the same enemy zone. But this one is nice and close to try, so if he fails again, it's only going to cost him another, minute to get back down here. And eventually, he probably needs what's down here. Stones of Sunlight could easily be down here. The Fighter's Ring would be a nice thing to find yet.
And here comes level 9. Hopefully there's a big bang of HP for him. To be able to tank a DL2 breath. 2 more power, 11 more speed, 6 more hit points, 2 more magic points, and a spell of... We don't know yet, but he did get a spell.
Yeah, and unfortunately those hit points are not going to be enough. Until you have 73 hit points and can, sit at your max hit points, you never can be assured of getting past. But honestly, even if he had 100 hit points, I don't think he would be able to necessarily... well, I guess if he got the first attack as well, he could defeat the Armored Knight. And actually, with the agility that he has right now, he's likely to get the first attack. So maybe I take it back. Yeah, 73 hit points would be a big threshold, so he'd be able to survive the Dragon Lord 2-breath attack.
And a Fighter's Ring, so that's gonna take him up to 100. So that is good news for Burgundy. Take a look at these 2 chests. A bamboo pole and a gold grind. So...
So yeah, in the
Its
meantime,
wings.
Simbu had managed to do the back of Garanham. He did Tablet Cave. He got all of those chests, even though they were relatively disappointing. I don't remember when we were back in Garanham. Was there full plate armor? Is that the only thing that we saw that was very valuable?
It is full plate. And Burgundy is lucky enough that the Armor Knight did not breathe fire, so he's able to take care of the Armor Knight. He's going to heal up and make a dive, make a run for that last chest.
Yeah, that's a pretty big break for Burgundy there. If he can make it to this last chest and be able to do this all in one go at this point, that'll be terrific, because obviously these Armored Knights are basically probably you're less than a coin flip still to win against them. And we got another glitched text there, and so I didn't see from FearonBurgundy's items exactly what he got there. I didn't notice if he picked up a silver harp or anything.
No, he didn't pick up the silver harp because Simbu just did in the freebie cave above the grave, so...
Ah, yeah, so that's exactly what I was saying. I would want to go peek in that other cave first, just in case it was something easy to go pick up and then go back to the grave and risk taking a death.
And how about another town for Simbu? That sounds good. And it's Cantlin. That is going to be very important for Simbu because he can get some coordinate.
Indeed. That said, we have found that the token was in a chest, so it's possible, I guess it's necessary, that a couple of the... Because we got the flute, was that in the treasury? Or I don't even remember where the players picked up the flute. So with the token and the flute already, only one of the 3 search spots, either the Overworld or Hawk's Nest or Cole, is going to have Erdrick's armor. And I guess we're about to find out if it's the Overworld right now.
And it's not the Overworld. It will be in Cole or Hawk's Nest because we got the fight.
Yep, the old man in Cantlin had no coordinates to give out because there was no item hidden on the Overworld. Yeah, and so since Hawk's Nest, like most of the monsters with Healmore and Hurtmore and Erdrick's Sword, like the players will be likely to be able to take out the monsters, so it might just be whoever kind of lucks into discovering whichever of those 2 towns has the armor will end up with a huge advantage in this race.
That is absolutely true. And Burgundy is now going to be at level 10. So 9 power, 1 speed, 12 hit points, and 2 magic points. That's going to put him favorably against a... he's likely to absorb DL2 breath and be okay.
And you probably wouldn't be surprised since we're only 20 minutes in and FearonBurgundy's at level 10, but in addition to being that high of a level, the stats are pretty good on this seed. This could easily be a seed that is going to go, you know, you're ready to defeat the Dragon Lord before you've managed to gather up all the things that you need to find. And speaking of things we need to find, we're still missing the harp and the stones. Or no, the harp was found, that's right, just outside of Garen's grave in Free Stuff Cave. So the stones are either in the bottom of the grave or Remolder. Are those the only chests we haven't seen?
Those are the only chests left outstanding.
So the runners have managed to successfully explore and cover a whole lot of this map already pretty early on. So yeah, this could be a really fast seed depending upon how quickly they can locate the armor.
And it's going to be all a matter of finding Cole or Hawk's Nest. And Simbu not going the right way, I don't think. And Burgundy is going to try to take on a wizard. Looks like he's going to get it. Unless he dodges.
Yeah, FearonBurgundy, it looks like, is strong enough to take out the wizard. It is eating through a lot of his resources since he had to use a heal more mid-battle. But it's always a nice threshold to when you get strong enough to the point to where you can choose to fight most any battle. And rather than having to run away, because even if it is depleting your resources, it's also increasing your experience, which is just going to make you stronger. And it can really just kind of snowball. But Ferran and Simbu both finding kind of dead-end peninsulas, so kind of crossing off bits of the map that they don't need to re-explore later, hopefully to find what they're looking for.
And unfortunately for Burgundy, he does run into a high-hitting wizard, so that's going to send him back. But knowing that there's nothing on the southwest of Sharlock, I think it would behoove him to go back into the grave and maybe find Stones of Sunlight.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, knowing that the Armored Knight is in there and you're still not a favorite, I would probably explore past the grave still and try to earn at least one more level. He only needs like 4 probably decent kills to get the next level up, and maybe it'll come with just a few more hit points, and all he needs is 2 more hit points to at least be able to certainly survive a single Dragon Lord 2 breath attack. I think he might be going to try to check the spike tile in the swamp.
And it's an Axe Knight.
I couldn't tell if he'd gotten to the tile yet or not.
And that nice little move confirms it is going to be the Axe Knight in the spike tile. That is a double-edged sword. The good news is you're going to get a lot of good experience. The bad news is you're going to discover that the princess is totally useless because there are no coordinates.
But I like this play, both to check it out and to get the experience that's going to help give the hit points to increase the survival. 16 power, 11 more hit points. Now I'd feel comfortable exploring the map again. And so we'll see. He's probably going to go ahead and use up the rest of his magic because he figures he's going to need to grind, and this is going to be the fastest experience grind he'll ever have. So take advantage of it while it's here. But then after this, if he takes outside or takes a death, I think he'll go back to exploring probably.
I would say so too. He's already at 125 attack power. Now, what that means is, for Dragon Lord purposes, we're going to do some Dragon Lord math. So, going against Dragon Lord, you got to take out 100 of your AP. So, for Burgundy's 125, it's going to be 25. Then you got to divide it in half, and you round down if it's a 0.5. So, for Burgundy, it would be 12, and that would be your high. Then you divide that, and you get 6, and that'd be your low. And that is your Dragon Lord math. Meanwhile, Simbu finds Breckenary, so that would be an easy $6 heal.
And I would be curious to know if there's going to be a silver shield in Breckenary. At this point, I'd still be thinking about that as, well, if the seed is going so fast, though. It's hard to tell. But right now, their defense power, their defense power is low because they don't have Herdrick's armor yet. Right. Yeah. That's
and there's the silver shield. Silver shield and Breckenary.
All right. But yeah, I don't know at this point that I would necessarily grind and come back for it. I'm just forgetting that they're wearing leather armor. I was looking at their defense points being so low, but that's the only reason. The rest of the stats are great.
And there's another town underneath Breckenary. It is Rimuldar.
So this is one of the chests. Maybe the stones will turn out to be here, and Simbu will be able to completely skip over the rest of the things that he's missing.
Nope, it's a 2-for-1 sale.
So I guess that confirms for us that the Stones of Sunlight are deep within Garen's tomb, and as a result, the players are going to have to be either strong enough or lucky enough to get past the armored knights that are on the first 2 floors of Garen's tomb to get down to those deep chests in order to get the Stones of Sunlight, which is one of the 3 key items they need to create the rainbow drop that will give them passage to get into Sharlock Castle.
Yep, that is true. And now Burgundy at level 12. Take a look at his stats. 90 strength, 78 agility. The only problem that he has is hit points. That's the only problem. Because when he gets Erdrick's armor, that is going to cure everything, defense-wise.
Yep, but at this point, with 85 hit points, he is now... that coupled with his high agility, he's a strong favorite to get the initiative in any battles with an armored knight. And 2 hurt mores are extremely likely to land against the armored knight, and so even if he loses most of his hit points during the battle, he should be able to survive. And yeah, so far his race is going great. Meanwhile, Simbu still getting tripped up with some unlucky encounters, and he's still at the point where he is much more susceptible to being taken down by some of these Sharlock tier enemies.
Especially since he's like in the dragon's den, running into a lot of red dragons, running into a lot of blue dragons in this area. Burgundy, I think, went there, was able to nope out of there pretty quick.
And so one thing I think will be interesting is whether FearonBurgundy goes back into the grave when he gets back up to the area, or whether he first diverts to the other cave to discover that it's Free Stuff Cave with Silver Harp before going into the grave, since the grave is still risky.
Well, this could be big for Simbu. He finds coal.
So it does exist.
And Cole's got the armor.
Alright, so that is a huge find, and that just turned things into more of a race. At this point, Fearon has almost a 2,000 experience lead against Simbu. However, now that Simbu has the armor, things are going to completely change in terms of his race. Even though he only has 71 hit points, now he has a fair chance of surviving the Armored Knight, because the armor is going to really reduce the Dragonward 2 breath that he's going to get from that guy. And yeah, all the other Sharlock tier enemies are also going to struggle to hit him nearly as hard. So his longevity just increased tremendously, and that might allow him to catch up. And so I think on Fearon's side, he just saw where the grave was and walked past it to explore further to the south, possibly. I'm not sure if I've lost track of exactly where he is in the map, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture where he's at, too. And there is Simbu. Now, he has seen Remolder, but he has not explored Mountain Cave yet.
And so I guess from Simbu's point of view, he doesn't know whether Mountain Cave is going to be the one that holds the stones, or whether it's going to be in the bottom of the grave. And so he has a little bit more exploring to do. Mountain Cave will be convenient since it's right under Tanajal. And yeah, honestly, with that Axe Knight grind available in the Swamp Cave, Simbu will be able to catch back up and experience really quickly, because that's going to be such a fast grind. So I think it's really going to come down to exploration luck. If Fearon can find coal in a reasonable amount of time, he can hold the lead. If not, Simbu may be able to catch up and pass him.
That is true, and it looks like Burgundy is... Well, he's back in this wizard area, so he is getting close back to where the grave is. But he is getting knocked out by wizards. I don't know. Why is he not healing? I honestly don't know why.
So yeah, both players making questionable decisions at this point or whatever. Fearon in terms of that battle, and Simbu, as people are pointing out in the chat, doesn't need to be on the overworld map at this point. He either needs to go dive the grave or dive Mountain Cave in order to get the rest of his stuff, because he knows about everything else, right? Have we seen the jerk?
I think Simbu has seen the jerk.
Alright, because that's the only thing that I wasn't sure if he still had information for. Yeah, so at this point it seems like he just needs to dive those locations.
And the problem for Simbu is that he's in this area. We know there's nothing there.
There's red dragons there.
And level 13, 1, 2, 1, and 4. So Burgundy is going to continue his grind and trying to find stuff. Yeah. Simbu is going to be sent.
I hope he's, not continuing a grind or whatever. Like, there's no point fighting anything in the overworld other than if it's a single hurt more free enemy for a good amount of experience. Like, the Axe Knight grind will be faster than any encounters you're going to take anywhere else on the map. And so, yeah, like a werewolf, I would hurt more that because it's still worth it. But the seed has gone so fast and the stats are already so good. The worry is over-grinding, in my opinion, on this seed.
Well, Burgundy's gonna go and heal. And if he goes back into the grave and clears it, that's gonna be big for Burgundy. Because he would have everything. He would just have to find the armor, and he can conceivably he would be in grind and go mode. The only thing he would have to worry about is leveling to get more HP.
Well, Simbu is finally going to go take a shot at the mountain cave. And since he has Erdrick's armor, here's an armored knight, but he should be able to win this battle. He's going to hurt more, even if he takes a breath to the face. Oh, the armored knight has stop spell, too. I don't know that we'd seen that before. So that's extremely lucky.
He is a 25% stop spell user, and that is level 11 for Simbu. That is good news for Simbu because that came with a lot of attack power. Burgundy, as I said, is going to heal after selling off some of his stuff. So it all depends on where he's going to go. Is he going to go to the grave and get the Stones of Sunlight? Or is he going to go south?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's going to choose to do right now. It looks like he's choosing just to continue to explore, because he really needs to find coal, and or Hawk's Nest, because he doesn't know that the armor isn't in Hawk's Nest. And yeah, in the meantime, Simbu's going to be able to clear out the mountain cave pretty easily. I'm trying to think ahead to Sharlock. Have we seen golems or stonemen in this seed? I think those are the only enemies, perhaps, that we haven't seen yet.
We've seen a stoneman, but they've been able to run from it. Burgundy, this is the jerk cave.
Alright, so now Burgundy definitely knows the location where he needs to return once he gets his hand on the harp, which he can convert into the Staff of Rain, and the Stones of Sunlight, which we know are in the bottom of the grave, and I think Burgundy knows at this point as well.
Yeah, Burgundy knows, but he is looking for... Looks like he's trying to search for Hawk's Nest, hoping the armor is there, but we know it's not. Simbu is looking... I think Simbu is going to march to the grave.
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense for Simbu right now, and Simbu seems to be sufficiently competent a runner. I watched Simbu a few weeks ago and was just kind of like starting to pick up the randomizer, but has really solidified the gameplay from what I've seen out of Simbu recently. And so I think Simbu kind of knows exactly what he's up to at this point. Although I'm not sure that the grave is in the direction that he's headed, if I'm remembering correctly.
No, this is where Burgundy went a few moments ago. The only reason that Simbu is back here is because he was Red Dragon to death.
So it feels like Simbu is still trying to find a location. Did Simbu not see the grave yet?
I don't think so.
So if that's the case, it really could be a dead heat, because both runners are still missing one thing on the map. Fearon needs to find coal. Simbu needs to find the grave. They think, alright, I think they did it and got the top 3. Okay, so yeah, our chat is saying that Simbu did get the stuff out of the top of the grave. So yeah, then this play by Simbu doesn't make sense. Yeah, so this will be something we have to ask about at the end of the match during the interviews. What was Simbu searching for here?
The only thing that's good for Burgundy right now is he's got this huge XP lead. Having a lot of trouble finding Hawk's Nest, I believe. It looks like Simbu has figured it out. He is gonna... Looks like he's gonna head back, go to the grave.
Assuming he remembers where it is. Yeah. chat is pointing out, maybe he simply forgot. If you're not drawing a map, and especially, like I said at the beginning of this seed, when everything happens so fast and you start with the sword, you get heal more and hurt more right at the beginning, and you can go through the swamp cave and you have 2 continents to keep track of in your head, it's easy to lose track. But I do think he's headed more in the right direction now, so hopefully he'll be able to find it over there on Simbu's side to get back into the grave. And meanwhile, FearonBurgundy has found Breckenary, gets the news that there is a silver shield available, but if he's pieced it together that he's probably not going to need it once he gets the armor. We'll see how this goes.
And that's Rimuldar, so all that we know there is there's a key.
Right, and so Fearon still thinks the stones potentially could be here, and so he'll get the news that it's not here. And yeah, again, we're going to have to ask both players if they drew any kind of maps, because I'm surprised Fearon never went back not only to the bottom of the grave, but to the other cave that he saw right outside the grave, which we know is Free Stuff Cave that has the harp.
Yeah, it is kind of confusing. Meanwhile, it looks like Simbu might be grinding to 13. This is Breckenary, so they're gonna do a high 5 soon.
Fearon doing a little bit of a refill on keys, and trying to think. I don't know that he needs any keys for anything left in the seed. I guess he doesn't. Oh, right. Yes. That would be a very tragic thing if you ran out of keys and then couldn't open up the bottom of the grave. So it's good to keep your keys up. And I think possibly Fearon now is headed over to the portion of the map where Cole is, because I remember it being kind of in a lower left kind of area, I think, on some plains.
It hooks around. Because it goes north and then it hooks in the west.
Right.
And that's where you find Cole.
Simbu just popped into the Jerk Cave, so in case we think he saw it before, but in case he forgot where it is, hopefully he's going to remember now that he's seen it again. And so he'll be able to return back there. There are some wide swaths of land. It's often the case that players will kind of trace out coastlines to keep track of the map. And this map does have some big land masses without any water on them, kind of in the middle in a couple of spots. And that's something that if you're a kind of coastline player, can really throw you off your mapping game.
And Burgundy has found Hawk's Nest. He's soon to get the bad news.
I wonder what monster is going to be here. I suppose he should be able to take out pretty much anything the game is going to throw at him at this point, unless it's a golem with sleep that we haven't seen.
But he does have the flute for the golem, so he should be fine there. And plus he's got an attack power over 130, so it should be easy to take out.
It's too bad the boss couldn't be a metal slime.
He'd be able to one-shot. He'd be able to do some good damage for that. Meanwhile, Simbu is back in the grave. That is big news for Simbu, so he is going to get the stones.
Well, presumably. He has to dive all the way through the grave in order to do it, and so could still take him some time. And he's opening up the chests in the top. I wonder...
Oh, he never got Erdrick's token.
Now. Okay, so he hadn't been up here. Okay, great. So he did walk past it and got the harp. He had peeked inside to see what it was, and we kind of talked about that, I think. But, or maybe he just walked past it, I can't remember. He saw the cave but didn't go through it, yeah. Okay. So, Simbu has our token. He's going to go downstairs. He's going to find the stones, assuming he manages to stay alive, but that's going to take him a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, Fearon is going over to some green plains that I think might be the location of Cole. So we have a race. Ferran is going to be behind in terms of the location because he has to go back to the grave and start diving it, but he's 3,000 points ahead on experience. But we have an Axe Knight in the Swamp Cave, and that's only about 3 minutes. And so, by my math, the players are in a complete dead heat at this point.
I would agree. It all depends on when Simbu finds the stones. And barring unless he doesn't run into anything nasty like a red dragon.
Right, or anything surprising that puts him to sleep that we didn't know about. Ferran also doesn't know where the harp is, and that's probably worrying him, but when he gets to the grave, which he knows he has to dive, which might contain both the stones and the harp from his perspective, he'll also see the other cave because it's on screen, and he knows he's missing Free Stuff Cave, so he's obviously going to pop in there. So I have high hopes that Ferran's going to get that. Yeah, this really feels like it's going to be a dead heat.
Yep. And Simbu just got his Stones of Sunlight, so he's gonna go into Cantillon to heal.
And it just occurred to me, Simbu does have another advantage, which he's already turned in the harp for the Staff of Rain. That's an extra bit of walking that Ferran's going to have to do after he gets the harp from Free Stuff and the stones out of the grave. He needs to go back and visit this old man that's on screen just a moment ago. To turn in the harp before he can go revisit the jerk. So that's going to cost Ferran like another minute of walking. So Simbu might actually be a little bit ahead at this point. We won't know until they settle into a final grind to get the amount of hit points that they're going to need to fight the Dragon Lord.
That is true, and Burgundy is walking the wrong way. Does he remember where the caves are?
Do I remember where the caves are? Ugh.
I think he does, because this is the area.
Okay, great.
No, I take that back. He was in the area.
I think he kind of just needed, potentially, Sharlock as a reference point, maybe. He knows it was somewhere up and right from there, but doesn't remember exactly the path, and so he's tried one dead-end peninsula, and now he'll try another.
And Simbu is casting Return. He knows Swamp Cave is there. I do not think he saw what was in Swamp Cave.
Well, it looks like he's going to go check it out right now, I think. But he is going to have to contend with Armored Knights just walking over there. He got the stop spell from the Armored Knight again. So Simbu had some really bad luck with monsters in the early game. Now later in the game, he's having some better luck in terms of the cast that the Armored Knights are getting him. But ironically, now he has the armor, and so he could actually survive if he needed to.
Burgundy is going to the back of back of Garanim, and that's Tablet Cave, I do believe.
Yeah, it is. So he definitely forgot. And so this could cost FearonBurgundy the match and his tournament life right here, basically forgetting. Yeah, he realizes after he gets a few steps in, he's like, no, I did go through Tablet Cave already. I know I did. So now he's going to walk up here and hopefully finally see the caves that he needs. And meanwhile, Simbu starting to get the experience on the Axe Knight, 6,700 to 4,100 at 45 minutes.
And with the attack power as is, it can be very big. So Burgundy knows he now has the two caves where the rest of his items are. So Burgundy also knows the top three chests. So he's got to go south and get his stones. Because he knows the stones are here.
Actually, he doesn't know they're here because they could be in Free Stuff Cave that was also on screen. We know that they're here and the harp is in the other one. But yeah, now it's kind of racing against the clock. Ferran honestly needs to get very few encounters so that he doesn't get held up checking out these chests. And I feel like Ferran did the wrong thing here again. I feel like the right thing to do would be to go into the other cave first, pick up the free stuff, even if it turns out to be empty, then you'd know you have to get both chests in the bottom of the grave. Whereas right now, even if the first one is the harp, he still has to go down to the second one and discover that it's not the other thing, and then go outside, which will cost him some extra time. So I feel like he did these two in the suboptimal order.
Right, but it looks like he'll get to 7,500 quickly, especially with the blue dragons being who they are. So it is conceivable that he could be at 15, could get to around 98 hit points, and be good to go.
It's also conceivable that he could run out of magic points fighting a bunch of bad monsters down here and die and have to walk all the way back. So yeah, we're kind of on the blade's edge right now in terms of what could happen in the outcomes. We could end up with a really close race, or this could all come crashing down.
And here's 15. So we have 13 agility, 10 hit points, 4 magic. Yeah, that's the magic, that's the hit points that he needs.
Yeah, now that it's updated on the tracker, he's going to be hitting the Dragon Lord for an average of 12. So he'd probably need like 12 heal mores, or yeah, these stats would be really cutting it close in my opinion. Especially with Armored Knights with Dragon Lord 2 Breath, although they do have good agility, so they're favorites to run. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if players try to dive at 15 or if they go at 16. But we'll see if we even get that far, because Fearon is trying to dive to the bottom of the grave, and it's not clear if he's going to live long enough to see the bottom.
And that could really send him back and in a tizzy. It depends if he could hero walk these next 3 floors. He did 1. Can he do 2? He does 2. Can he get this 3rd chest? He does. He's going to cast outside. He's got to go to that next cave and get his harp, and we're going to have a race. But no, he goes to Caitlin.
I think he just realized that he's completely out of magic, and so he wants to heal up. Hopefully, he is going to also then go pick up the harp next, and realize that's the final location that he's missing. But that said, since we saw him dip into Tablet, he might be completely second-guessing himself. Hopefully he'll remember that he hasn't gone up into that cave yet and head right back up there.
Yep, that's exactly what he's doing.
And he managed to survive an encounter with the dreaded blue slime. Alright, we're over the hump.
There's his harp. He knows where the harp trading cave is. Now he's got to go over there, and then all the way back down to where the jerk cave is, which he knows where it is.
And he has managed to earn a fair amount of experience while doing this, and so is still maintaining an experience lead. So despite the fact that he's had kind of a bit of extra walking here at the end, he's still holding on to some of an experience lead. The question kind of like turns out to 15 might be enough. 16 looks like it's probably going to be enough, unless the level is really abysmal or Sharlock is really tough. So yeah, it doesn't seem like the players are going to end up overgrinding on this one. Fearon did find the Rainbow Drop Cave. I remember him being over there. It was near the bottom right of the large second continent, and he was basically walking the outside coastline. He went to the right side of the map and then went down, went across the bottom, and then started coming back up before he finally found coal and Hawksness. And
there it is. He's gonna find it.
So he's gonna get his rainbow drop. Simbu has his rainbow drop. Sharlock is one of the few things that's very easy to find on this particular map. And so yeah, now it's going to be interesting to see Fearon's decision-making after he picks up the drop, to see if he heads immediately into Sharlock, or if he decides to grind just a few Axe Knights to get level 16 before he heads in there.
These green dragons are good as well, and blue dragons too.
Yeah, it's really nice when you have a seed where you have a lot of attack power, because it just gives you so much flexibility to decide what to do against monsters. There's so many guys you can just take swings at and pick up the experience without having to think much about it.
And I think this is the area. It's a little bit north. Burgundy has seen it.
Oh
It's
no, he
just a
turned
matter
around.
If he can remember. Yeah,
I think it was
that's
just to the
not
right of there.
area.
Or was it south of here and then to the right? It's one of those two, I think.
No, it was north and right of Breckenary.
Alright, so some costly mapping errors. Definitely taking their toll on Ferran here. And meanwhile...
But the good news is he is getting good experience by dining on these Sharlock level enemies. So it looks like what he's thinking is 9750, so level 16 will be enough, even if it just gives him 1 or 2 more health.
I seriously doubt he's thinking about that at all. He has no idea where he is with respect to experience in the Dragon Lord, and he is 100% saying, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, where's the jerk? That's what I think is going on in his head right now.
And it's south of there. No, wait, it's right there.
Oh, hooray! Oh, I thought you saw it on the screen before it came up on my stream. Or did you? There it is! I think I'm watching a few seconds behind.
That's okay. So he is going to get the Jerk Cave. He is going to get his Rainbow Drop. And to celebrate an excellent move on a Red Dragon.
Alright, so now I wonder if he's going to pull up his stat screen, take a look at exactly where he's at, and decide if he needs to grind or if he needs to go.
It's a toss-up. And it looks like he's going to grind.
Okay, so I made a note at 45 minutes. FearonBurgundy was up by 2,600 experience. 10 minutes later, at 55 minutes, he's only up by 1,000 experience, maybe a little bit less. No, now a little bit more. So basically, Simbu managed to make up 1,500 experience in the last 10 minutes. And honestly, that's pretty good. That means Ferran was getting a lot of experience while he was doing all this walking around. It could have been that Simbu caught all the way back up, but Ferran managed to fight some good monsters and keep some experience going.
The problem is double fizzle on the armor knight, so this could prove costly. So it looks like he's not gonna have enough to dive. He needs to heal. And that hurts. 3 fizzles out of 4 on the armor knight. So he's 255 away from 9750. He throws up the bridge, and Burgundy is probably gonna die on some werewolves before he death warps back to Tantagel.
Yeah, I guess he's just hoping to get the level before he takes a death. But he might be heading back to a town. And I can't remember what the nearest town is now to Sharlock either. Meanwhile, Simbu did have level 15 and is continuing to grind. So Simbu was definitely committed. Well, I think probably committed to 16. It's not going to take very long to get level 16. So I would definitely go ahead and grab level 16 as opposed to try to grab 16 on the way down, because it's only going to cost Simbu like 1 more minute. He's attacking with the sword, and I don't understand why he's not just using Is he just planning to walk directly into Sharlock and preserve all his magic from here? I guess he might be able to do that.
Yeah, that's what he's gonna do. I've seen Simbu race a couple of times before. That's usually what he does.
All right, that could turn out to be very efficient. That could save him an in trip here. It's going to cost him a little bit of time in terms of grinding the Axe Knights, but he'll be able to jump into Sharlock more quickly, and he'll still have 10 heal mores, just like Ferran will have when he gets over there. But Ferran is still ahead on experience, and assuming he gets 1 or 2 good encounters, we're going to be able to see what level 16 has in store for the runners.
Yeah, a blue dragon here, and that's it. Here's 16. 3 more power, 2 more agility, 37 more hit points. Yeah, you're good.
It's go time. It is all 100%, 1,000,000% go time. All those hit points. It turns out you could have dove at 15 and be just fine, because now the Death Necklace is in play on top of it all, if you really want to. And yeah, that was unexpected, but such is the nature of a randomizer. 37 hit points. Wow. That is... I feel like there's only 1 in 30 seeds that any stat ever has a jump of 37 or higher. That's crazy town.
It is very crazy town, and now we're going to have a race. Now, Simbu's going to have the advantage because he's going to be closer to Sharlock.
Simbu just cast a heal more, but that might not cost him, because even with 9 heal mores, once he gets this level, he'll see that he probably has enough to go defeat the Dragon Lord.
Burgundy is now on his walk to Sharlock. But Burgundy also has a little bit of an advantage. He did place his drop already. He does have the bridge. Simbu has not. But Simbu has to wonder, am I going to have to walk out of here? Or can I outside this? And it looks like he's going to have to walk out of here. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Burgundy is now in Sharlock, and he faces a Green Dragon. All of these enemies that he's going to face are pretty easily runnable, except for the armor from the Armor Knight and the Red Dragons. Blue Dragons should be able to run from.
Yeah, and if he puts on the Death Necklace for the Dragon Lord fight, he's going to be averaging like 18, maybe 17 in terms of average damage output for melees against the Dragon Lord. So he's only going to need probably 6 heal mores on the bottom, or 7 heal mores on the bottom or something, to win this one probably. And so he has a couple of heals to spare. Sorry, a couple of heal mores to spare, as well as a couple of heals to spare. And yeah, right now he definitely has an advantage. And Simbu is going to save. In case he fails the dive, he's gonna like reset back to the throne room, but he doesn't have all his magic. I'm unclear what Simbu's doing here.
I don't know, and he just put on the Death Neck. Oh, he's checking. He'll have 103 if he puts on the Death Necklace. How would you play this? Would you health, or you'd have 137 health? That is easily doubles with 18 as your high, or do you Death Necklace and have 23 as your high?
My default is, if the Death Necklace is any plausibility, I almost always put it on, because it shortens the Dragon Lord fight, and it very rarely significantly alters the win chance percentage. And I think this is not one of the outliers. I think this is one where, with or without the Death Necklace, you are certain to win, and the Death Necklace is just going to make the match shorter. That said, I would wait to put on the Death Necklace until you got to the bottom of Sharlock, because having the extra hit points is helpful as a buffer while you're potentially running into Red Dragons and Armored Knights on the way down. But right now, it looks like this one is in control for Fearon.
Yeah, he does run into an Armor Knight, failed to run the first time, was able to get away the second time. Now he's in the third basement, and soon he's gonna hero walk that third part of the basement. Now this is the tricky one, the fourth part.
Yeah, there are 8 levels to Sharlock. He's halfway down already. And as we move down onto the next floor, it's going to be a different set of enemies. There's 3 different enemy zones in Sharlock. He's just finishing up the second enemy zone and moving down to the third. So depending upon if there's any Red Dragons or Armored Knights down here, that's probably the only thing that could slow him down at this point.
And there's that Red Dragon. Can he run? Yes, he can run. But he's going to run to a second one. Can he run from that again? No, he's being blocked. Now it's a matter of can he run or will he have to burn a heal more? He's being blocked again. He's going to go after and attack it. He's going to try to defeat this red dragon.
That's a reasonable insurance play, in my opinion. He should be able to take it out in about 3 hits, even if he burns a heal more during this battle. He probably has a couple more heal mores that he could choose to burn. He did a risky play there, taking a swing at 29. He could just choose to heal a couple of times here and hold on to his heal mores. I'm not sure that he's completely worked through all the math to know just how many he can afford to spend, but he's in great shape now getting down to the bottom floor.
Yeah, but he's running into a couple more red dragons. He won 1 run block, 2 run blocks. He needs to get away from this red dragon. He does get away from it. He's going to burn a couple of herbs. And now, he's at the bottom floor. It's just this one circuit. Can he get around, defeat that sub-boss, and then go to the Dragon Lord? Right now, he's got a great advantage going right now against Simbu. Running into these green dragons, these are easily able to run away from.
Yeah, Simbu going down in the dark, and so it's harder for me to tell exactly which floor he's on, but Ferran probably has at least a 2 to 3 minute lead ahead of him, I think, right now. And Ferran is getting a pretty good walk as we get over to the mini-boss tile, and so we'll see who it is.
It's a blue dragon. It is pretty favorable. He should take it out in 3 swings. He does take it out in 3 swings. Now it's going to get to the Dragon Lord. Is he going to put on the Death Necklace, or is he going to beef up to full health? Hopefully he doesn't run into anything else along the way. He is going to run into one more. It's going to be a red dragon, and he's going to get attacked by him immediately. Can he run? No, he's being run blocked. Will he be able to run the second time? No! Now he's going to have to burn a heal more. Now, the question is, will Burgundy just fight this red dragon or able to be run away? That's a 3rd run block! This could be trouble! Now he's gonna swing! He's gonna burn another heal more. He only will have 8 heal mores going into this fight. This could be trouble! He will defeat this red dragon, but he will only have 8 heal mores going into this battle. He's gonna burn a couple of herbs, and then throw on the Death Necklace. He will have 103 hit points, but he will have 103. He's gonna herbs. He's gonna do 2. He's only gonna heal up to 97. He's gonna be a fool. He could probably get. He has to hope this is a 2-hit Dragon Lord, but he gets a favorable thing with the stop spell. It is a 2 attack, and now here comes the Dragon Lord fight. This is gonna be tight, and it's a back attack for 34.
That's really unfortunate. The back attack is the only thing that I think would really lower his chances at this point. He was still pretty favorable to go in, but with the back attack, he's in rough shape. Meanwhile, Simbu has been going down. He's run into a number of red dragons and armored knights, but he's managed to preserve all his magic points so far until the armored knight breathes his fire. Oh my gosh. Both players might die in Sharlock here, but Ferran still has a chance.
Burgundy is swinging high. He's got 50, he's got 18, he had a 20, he's got a 22. He is over 70. He is halfway home against this Dragon Lord.
He has a chance.
He needs to keep up those high rolls, but that's the low. 12 is the low. But that's the max of 23. This is going to be a tight one, ladies and gentlemen.
Simbu is choosing to walk through Swamp Cave rather than just outside. He had 87 magic points, so he could use outside, get it down to 81, and not cost himself a heal more. So that's a few seconds there. If Ferran does lose to the Dragon Lord here, I wonder if that could be a deciding factor.
He's going to have 2 more attacks on this Dragon Lord at least. Or no! Yeah, he's going to have 2 more attacks. 17. This is it. This is going to be the last attack. Can Burgundy pull it off? 12. He has done it!
Get
Burgundy
your
has done it
GGs
at the
in
last
chat
attack!
for FearonBurgundy, who, despite a very challenging last few steps in front of the Dragon Lord, as well as Dragon Lord itself, has managed to pull off a victory in this race, secure himself a spot in the 2019 tournament bracket. Simbu is going to come up just short in his first tournament as well and not be able to qualify for the brackets. Wow, what a race.
It was a fantastic race. It was back and forth. Simbu had an advantage by finding everything, but that XP advantage that Burgundy had was just too much to overcome. And Burgundy will be moving on to the brackets at 3 and 2. Simbu, unfortunately, is going to be eliminated in a fantastic race. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this turned out to be really exciting. Definitely some kind of like a couple of questionable decisions by runners that I want to ask them about in the interview. But other than kind of like struggling through the map and trying to figure out what people were looking for at times, like both players, they were very efficient in their grinds. They did a good job in terms of, picking up the things that they needed to do and making decisions about when to dive Sharlock, and it ended up being really tight and exciting to watch.
Yes, it was a fantastic match, and Burgundy is here in the commentary booth. Burgundy, GG's, and congratulations, you're moving on to the brackets.
I have no idea how I did that.
So, yeah, I imagine it looked like a couple of times you were like, oh God, oh God, oh God, where is this thing that I've already seen? Is that your main surprise in this match?
Yeah, there was definitely a where was that? I think the rainbow drop was one of the things where I was circling back, and I thought, oh no, and I think I was confusing it with that awful seed that I played earlier. It was in some hills, as opposed to that forest to the eastern end.
Yeah, it can definitely be a problem when you're practicing a race, on the same day or almost back to back from an actual race, because you get the two maps confused in your head.
Yeah, I was really worried when that red dragon sapped 2 of my heal wars 3 steps in front of the Dragon Lord, and that was where I quickly did the numbers and said, all right, it's Death Necklace or bust.
And then the Dragon Lord 2 back attacked you, and up until then, the numbers were still looking good, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh dear.
Yeah, I'm still... These tournament races, man, I'm gonna need a defibrillator one of these days.
I think a lot of us spectating need it too, yeah. On Simbu's side, he was diving Sharlock. He was a couple minutes behind you in the dive and had made it down through about 2/3 of the floors with no problem. And then an Armored Knight just wiped him. He couldn't run away and used the Dragon Lord breath. He was taking a run at 46 and it hit him for 48, I think. And so he's just rediving now and is back to the bottom floor of Sharlock right now. But it was really exciting.
I know I had one of those moments probably somewhere in the mid-game where I'd done the numbers and I was facing a wizard and I went, okay, it can hit me for a range of, I think it was 12 to 25. So I'm going to attack on 25. Wouldn't you know, the doggone thing hit me for 25.
Yeah, he gave you the old perfect bid. But yeah, I needed a defibrillator after calling that. That was an amazing race.
It'll be fun to watch back. You had an experience lead of 2,600 at one point, about 45 minutes into the race. But Simbu had basically found all the locations at that point. You were still, I think, looking for coal and then finding your way back to the grave and Sunstone's cave in order to pick up the stones and the harp. And so while you were doing that, he was grinding Axe Knights. Fortunately, you got into a lot of good experience getting battles, and so you managed to keep an experience lead kind of right up into the end, and so got into Sharlock a little bit ahead of time too.
Yeah, that was kind of my game plan going in. Once I saw, it was kind of an off the cuff thing of, let me just check the swamp tile just in case it's an Axe Knight. And when I saw that was the case, I thought, all right, let me just kind of hang out here, get about, what was that, maybe about 2 or 3 levels just to kind of help. And I was debating going another level, but I thought, all right, I'm really sacrificing exploration if I do that. So that was the point where I thought, okay, level, I think it was 13 that I might have stopped, or maybe even 12. And at that point, I just said, all right, I need to start finding the things, because I hadn't found the stones, I hadn't found the harp yet. And I had a moment as I'd gone through everything else and went, where are these doggone things? And I went, the grave. And immediately, because it hadn't dawned on me in the middle of things that an armored knight wiped me out on the way to chest 4, which it turned out was the stones.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And yeah, the other thing I wanted to ask you about is, when you had first seen the grave, did you remember that there was that other cave that turned out to be Free Stuff Cave that was right behind it that you never had a chance to go in, or did you not remember that until you went back at the end?
I didn't remember until I went. Well, actually, I didn't even remember, because I think I'd just gone in and I was just on tunnel vision to, okay, grave, and just didn't even. I knew there was the town that was there. Couldn't even tell you, was that Cantlin? If I maybe I don't even know. Okay, it was Cantlin, so I kind of sort of remembered right. But as I was going through, I thought, all right, more than likely the stones are going to be in one chest and the harp's going to be in the other, and I'll yell McGrew if it's in the bottom one. And then when it was a torch, I kind of quickly did a mental check and went, what the heck haven't I checked? The bonus cave. Oh no. And it just happened to be right there. I thought, okay. And then I knew where this harp cave was, and then it was a matter of rummaging around and trying to find the rainbow drop cave or jerk cave. That was definitely stressful, because I thought pretty early on I had a good thing going, but it was hard to say.
Yeah, I think your kind of like early mid-game grind on those Axe Knights was a very good play. It gave you the survivability you needed to succeed in doing the exploration, because there were a lot of Sharlock monsters on this one. The Armored Knight was definitely... Okay, I have to stop to say, Simbu has successfully defeated the Dragon Lord, so get your GGs in chat. For him, he's coming in just a few minutes behind. Not going to be quite enough, but still well-run race by Simbu.
Absolutely.
It's like a 7-minute and 4-second difference from what I see here.
That was the difference, because both you had to go all your heal mores in. The difference between Simbu and you is that Simbu had all 10 of his. You only had 8, but the difference was the rolls, because Simbu ran really low. I don't think he got... where you got quite a few 20s and 22s and 23s, I don't think he got anything higher than a 20.
Oh, wow. Well, GG to Simbu. The kind of fun and ironic part, and Lorgon, you'll know this because you were part of that practice seed a little bit earlier today, as well as up to NG, but in that race, I had finished dead last behind all 3 of you, losing to Simbu by about 16 minutes, and I thought, oh man, I'm done for.
Yeah, Simbu's become, a very solid runner. I had seen him when he was just kind of first picking up the randomizer or whatever, and still a little bit green, but he's really kind of toughened things up here. And yeah, ran a close race, and it sounds like we have him in the booth now as well. Simbu, how are you feeling?
Pretty good. I kind of get a little bit upset at myself at the beginning of the seed, because I kind of forgot that I could just go buy keys and then come back to the treasury, but then turned it into a mini gold grind, which was worthless. But oh well, it was only a couple minutes, and then couldn't run from the armor knight at the end. But either way, it was a good race. A little bit jetty, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely jetty. 107 and 114, those are fast times. It was a fast rate, starting with keys and the sword right at the start. It was a crazy start, the way that it started in the swamp there. And you had that tiny little bit of grinding, like we completely kind of glossed over it because the end ended up being so exciting, but the beginning was pretty crazy as well. And Simbu did have a little bit worse luck. Yeah, Simbu had to reset when he realized he hadn't bought the keys, but that only cost maybe a minute at the beginning. And but then Simbu had a little bit worse luck in terms of exploration, running into more red dragons and armored knights kind of right at the beginning, sending him back. But then you guys kind of went in different directions. Simbu ended up getting the armor quite a bit earlier than Fearon. And so even though he was a little bit behind, that helped him kind of catch up. And ended up finishing the exploration before Ferran did, but was way behind on the grind at that point. And so it was one of those things where we were just trying to estimate who do we think is ahead, and it was very close.
Yeah, the only thing I really am disappointed with myself as far as my exploration is I knew Hawksness might not be required, so I should have just went directly into Garen's grave and found the token, but I decided, oh no, I'm going to, since I needed to go back anyway, I'm going to search around here a little bit, and that probably lost me another 3 or 4 minutes. I'm not exactly sure, but
that was actually one of the questions I had queued up to ask you for, is basically you had found technically all the things you needed, and it looked like you were still exploring the map, and so I wanted to ask what you were looking for. And it sounded like you kind of had Hawksness in your sights earlier, and then even when it didn't matter anymore, you were still spending a little bit of time looking for it when you didn't need to.
yeah, I just didn't. It was kind of a toss-up whether or not token would be in the grave, and I just happened to get to the point where I could go back to, like, I had the decision of going back left towards Sharlock or going back upright towards the grave, and I decided to go left and see if I could find anything, and then I took one wipe there and had to go back and found out, oh, this place I'm searching has nothing on it, so I didn't even find Hawksness, and then ended up going back to the grave eventually. I just spent a little bit too long doing that. But again, it's just a little bit of, it could be in either place. It's slightly better to check the grave first. I just hated myself as soon as I went that way, but as soon as I went over towards Sharlock, it was like, well, now it's not worth going all the way back over there. So
yeah, and I remember now, I'd written down that question before I realized that you had not seen the top 3 chests in the grave, and so you didn't know the token was there already, and that made Hawksness a more attractive potential destination, given what you knew at that time.
yeah, I mean, it was, first I was looking to see what the grind was. I didn't know what the swamp grind was yet, and again, I didn't know the token was in the grave yet, so oh well.
Yeah, but it was a well-run race. You ran a really good tournament, though. This is for your first time out. 2 and 3, unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. We enjoyed watching you race all throughout the five matches you had in this tournament. I'm assuming, will you be back next time out for the tournament and maybe make the playoffs that time?
I'll be honest, I'm not completely sure. Dragon Warrior Rando, sometimes it's not very nice to you, and I'm still trying to get over that. I wasn't even sure I wanted to be in the top 32 just because, especially at the beginning, it was really, really rough on me, and we've had a few nice seeds recently, but I know it can be really nasty, and I'm also really busy with the other randomizer I play, so it just depends. If I feel like it, I might jump back in, but as it stands right now, it's definitely a maybe. I'm not 100% sure I would want to jump in again.
All right. Well, we hope your other rando goes well. What rando is it? Is it Zelda or Final Fantasy free FF4 free enterprise?
It's free enterprise. I just got into the top 16, so we're going to be doing runnings for quite a few runs in the next few weeks at a pretty high level. So definitely would have been difficult to devote time to both of them.
I got you.
Yeah, just in terms of wrapping up as a reminder, I don't want people to forget that there are going to be a couple more races tonight. We're not sure exactly what channels they're going to be on, but at 7 p.m. Eastern, there's the Hangry Canuck versus MTI. That's another 2-2 match where one of the players will move on and one will be eliminated. And then at 9:30, there's going to be Silverfire versus Edgeworth, which is a battle of 3-1s. And yeah, if you keep your eye on the DWR tournament link that's just been posted in the chat, you can find out the schedule for where those channels are going to be.
Yep, and we hope to see all of you there. So Burgundy, 3-2, you're moving on, and we know we're going to hear your dulcet tones in some of the future races, so we're going to be happy for that.
Well, I wanted to clarify, unlike Simbu, who's a maybe, I definitely won't be coming back. No, I'm kidding.
we've sucked you in now.
You're stuck with me
Too
whether
late.
you like it or not.
Indeed. I also want to give a shout out to Tyrannex, who was tracking for our race, and High Spirits, who was our restreamer for this race. Lots of volunteers working together to put on all these matches for display and restream, and it's so much fun to watch.
Absolutely. And we're going to be rating Speed Gaming. They're doing a Zelda Ocarina of Time rando race. That is going to be very exciting to watch. So I think it's time that we Theo Tilo Quips almost had a heart attack there, Fearon. So
that makes two of us. I was looking up at Elizabeth in a couple of spots throughout the thing, getting ready to come to join her, honey. Well, Sanford and Son reference for those, that are old, not old like me.
You big dummy. Anyway.
Yeah, there are some days where I feel like a big dummy, that's for sure. But no, this was a great race, and it could have easily gone either way. I mean, that's what's wild about these 2-2 matchups. I mean, I thought Simbu had me beat. As soon as I hit the dot done and saw I was in first, it was almost oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a great race between the two of you. We will see you in a couple of weeks for the bracket matches. And that's going to wrap it up for this wonderful race. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching. And I'd like to thank FearonBurgundy and Simbu for putting on a great race. I'd like to thank TRNX for tracking, High Spirits for restreaming. Lorgon, buddy, couldn't do it without you. Hopefully we will do this commentary thing again. And until next time, this is sigmafan saying good night. Good night.